Today, we are going to be comparing and covering the difference between running classes for two of the most popular connected fitness services, Peloton and iFIT. For the most part, I am not going to be comparing the hardware, meaning Peloton's and iFIT's treadmills in this video, mostly because iFIT, who owns both Nordic Track and Proform, has so many treadmills available, some much better and some much worse than Peloton's tread, that could be better covered on other videos. Instead, let's find out which program overall is the best for runners, and we're going to start right now. Hey everybody, my name is Colin Jenkins with Connect the Watts, where we cover the latest connected fitness news, reviews, tips, and guides. So if you want more content just like this, well, you know what to do. Now, there are a ton of differences to cover between Peloton and iFIT's running programs, and we gotta start somewhere, so let's talk live classes first. With both programs offering live running class options, what Peloton offers in this category is currently better in almost every single aspect. Whereas iFIT tends to have 4 to 5 live running and walking classes every day, all of which being 30 minutes long, Peloton has almost double that with a wider variety of workout lengths. iFIT's live running workouts are all stacked together in the morning on Monday through Friday, whereas Peloton tends to have both morning and afternoon options, as well as live classes on the weekends. And the production value of these live studio classes on Peloton are better as well. And it's not that the coaches on average are that much better here on these treadmill classes, although that certainly could be argued. But with each class crafted around a custom playlist, it really allows the instructor to lean in on good music and enhance the overall experience. Finally, the leaderboard for live classes is just a lot more populated on Peloton than iFIT, which can make it feel like a more fun experience running alongside hundreds and sometimes thousands of other members all at the same time. And it's not because iFIT has so many less active members, it's just that the live class experience is not what iFIT is known for. Instead, it's their instructor-led scenic content. So let's talk about that next. Whereas Peloton dominates the live studio experience, iFIT does so in their instructor-led scenic classes, with several new complete programs added every month, most consisting of 12 to 20 workouts exploring a new area. This is where iFIT really shines. The instructors on the scenic content are easily some of the best, if not the best, of any running content on any connected fitness platform, and the classes are just really interesting and enjoyable. I'm always learning something new about each of these areas when I take these classes. And here on these scenic runs, iFIT's lack of a dedicated music playlist for each workout really doesn't make a difference, as the location is really the center of your attention here. With a studio class, you aren't looking at anything but the instructor, so you have to have good music or it's a really bad experience. Whereas on the scenic runs, it's really the location and the overall exploration that keeps you motivated to keep going. Now, Peloton has dabbled with less than a handful of instructor-led scenic runs, and they so far have really missed the mark. They feel less like you are running alongside the instructor and more like you are on a drone hovering next to them, often looking at them to the side and not really seeing where you are running. It makes the whole experience seem edited, like you are watching a show or a documentary rather than taking part in the experience. And similar to how very few iFIT members take live classes, very few Peloton members end up taking these produced scenic runs, most of them having been taken by less members than the average on-demand studio class. Another big part of what helps iFIT scenic content out a lot is that almost all of their equipment automatically inclines and declines relative to the environment in which you are running. So when you see a big hill, you know you are going to feel it, and you get that relief start to set in when you see a flat terrain ahead, or even better, an occasional downhill segment. Peloton doesn't have this sort of incline-decline control, and the most you get during these scenic runs is the instructor telling you to increase your incline to whatever percentage they want, but this often doesn't change as the environment clearly shows you doing something different. And speaking of automatic incline and decline, almost all of iFIT's equipment also automatically adjust your speed as well with their Smart Adjust and Active Pulse options. With Smart Adjust enabled, your speed is increased and decreased alongside to whatever the coach intended for the workout, but adjusted relative to your current fitness level. And this ends up working spot on almost all of the time. There are times, however, occasionally, especially during big hills, where you'll go up a big hill and the incline will go up And the speed will go down to compensate for that, but I don't think it's enough. And so often in those situations, I'll take off the Smart Adjust and control the speed down a little bit. And the other way for workouts to be automatically controlled is via Active Pulse. And what this does is change the speed based on the intended heart rate zone for each part of the workout. So if you have a heart rate monitor paired, it can analyze how quickly your heart rate is either moving up or down and adjust your speed accordingly to keep you in the correct zone. Personally, most times I'll use Smart Adjust, but there are occasional times where I will use Active Pulse, typically during longer endurance runs where keeping your heart rate within a certain zone is more important. Now we have to talk programs versus classes. Peloton mostly focuses on creating new live classes with the idea that you should pick and choose what you'd like to do day to day. There are a few beginner running programs on Peloton, but just a few. iFIT again is the exact opposite, with the majority of their attention and focus on their programs. Meaning each of these scenic runs is developed within a series to not just show you all around a location, but more importantly, to develop as a runner. Many of their programs are built around improving your 5K or 10K or half marathon or even full marathon, with some programs designed for beginners, others for advanced. Some intend to be taken 2 days a week, others 3, 4, or even 5 days a week, depending on the goal. And some programs even have multiple parts, which can extend the program out to 20, 30, 40, or even 50 workouts that span over several months. Peloton, in comparison, seems more built around somebody who doesn't really have or want a specific running goal, but just wants to include running within their program, maybe in addition to their bike. Whereas with iFIT, I feel like because of these fully fleshed out programs, it is more meant for somebody who actually wants to become a better runner. And I don't feel this way nearly as much about iFIT and Peloton's cycling programs, because Peloton's excellent Power Zone classes on the bike more than make up for its lack of direction. Now, there are two sort of specialty classes that I want to sort of discuss in regards to Peloton and iFIT. Peloton has a whole category of workouts called boot camps, which combines running with strength or core work, often taking you on and off and back on the tread multiple times. And I will say I absolutely love these classes. They are a great way to mix things up for a complete workout, and they range from beginner to advanced. And the advanced is really tough. Like half the time by the end, I'm just struggling to keep going. It's a good challenge. And iFIT is starting to dabble in boot camps, most recently bringing in Kayla Itzines for their first live boot camp class last week. But Peloton has at least one new tread boot camp every day at this point, so it really gives you a lot more options in that respect. And finally, iFIT special classes seem to be really in live racing events. All the time, there seems to be another live 5K or 10K, and even lately, they've been putting up entire marathons like the Boston Marathon, which you can complete either in full or broken into several parts. And by taking part in these live runs, iFIT will send you a medal for free in the mail, and I think that's just a cool and fun way to set goals and new records and push yourself with the iFIT community. Now, personally, I have never run as much as I did last year after I reviewed the Nordic Track X22i treadmill. And this is strange because usually after I review something, I sort of have to move my focus on to something else. But every once in a while, I get hooked, and I was really digging the programs I was doing and how much I was improving. So for me personally, I really prefer to follow the iFIT running programs rather than taking the Peloton one-off classes, although I do like Peloton's coaches a lot. But on Peloton, as I mentioned, I do really love their bootcamp classes and have continued to take them weekly even after my review of the Peloton Tread, especially Adrian's Thunder 45. Shout out to the Thunder Squad. And those are really great, and like I said, I just really enjoy that challenge. So ultimately, I think it depends on what motivates you. If you would prefer live studio classes with great music and have the ability to jump into whatever class you feel like day to day, then running with the Peloton program is probably going to be a better fit. However, if instructor-led scenic content with automatic adjustment and fleshed out programs are what would help you the most, then looking into iFIT's program is probably going to be the better way to go. And as I mentioned, I recently did a review on the Peloton Tread, so if you want to learn more a bit about the hardware side of things, you can check that out here. And let me know in comments what you think about Peloton or iFIT's running classes. I would love to know. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.